Again, on my own behalf and our regional group colleagues, we'd like to send our best wishes to the children, those involved in this horrific stabbing incident, their carer and their family members. And we remind parents and teachers and guardians that every member of this House is outraged at what occurred at Oireachtas. I'd also like to recognise the tremendous bravery of those who tackled and restrained the alleged perpetrator of the heinous act. Minister, there is no doubt that the rise of the far right has been a topic for discussion in Europe for a number of years, and now in Ireland this past year. And the events of September 20th should have showed us, when political staff were clearly targeted outside Leinster House here, what we were facing into and what we should be dealing with. There are individuals and groups in our population, unfortunately, who are starting to organise to pursue a national far-right agenda. The rioting that followed the Scoilmhuire assaults in Dublin was contributed to in large part by opportunistic thugs and low-level criminals intent and more interested in looting than loitering. But it demonstrates nonetheless that there are people in Ireland who believe in fascism, who believe in racism and who believe that violence and intimidation can deliver their political agenda. They represent a clear and present danger to this democratic Irish state. And no half measures should be considered in the state's response when dealing with these abusers and thugs. On October the 4th, the regional group colleagues and I brought a motion, Minister, on the deficiencies within the Garda Síochána, and we highlighted many areas of conflict, I suppose, and difficulty for members. But two I'd like to raise again is in relation to GSOC, whose activities to me appear to be more interested in minor member transgressions than they are in the transformation of policing for the 21st century. And the second thing was the technology deployments, and we asked at the time that the body cams legislation would be pushed on, and that was being slow-walked until recently, and now it seems it can be done. So it shows the state can respond quickly. Another aspect of the policing deficiency I'd like to raise on October was I think it's rather disingenuous of the Garda management to say that they could not anticipate what was going to unfold. There's a myriad of stories in social media earlier in the day of immigrant families trying to get their loved ones out off the streets and out of work areas because they could see the messaging that was building. And I think there has to be a failure of Garda intelligence recognised in terms of this deficit, and this needs to be looked at, Minister. But also what needs to be looked at is where social media messaging is now being used as a conveyor belt to deliver far-right messaging, but it's also being used as the logistical apparatus to carry out further racial attacks on visitors and citizens in this country. And I think, Minister, we might also look at all of those phone screenshots that were made of known phone numbers. And the question is, what powers will be given to the Gardaí to go and find the account holders there and to prosecute those people also? And I just want to reference also, just in a short time frame, that I think we need to do more in terms of our response presently in terms of inward migration to the country. And we need to think not just of immigration, but integration. And I think we want all of our new citizens to take a full, wholesome part in our democracy, Minister. But I think there is a perceived lack of communication going on with how that is happening. It is causing some disquiet, particularly in our rural towns and villages. And I would ask government that they would make this something that needs further addressing at the earliest opportunity.